Alrighty, just searching for some keywords for Next.js to see what people are talking about. The idea is just to go through titles and find what people are talking about. So, image, component, see those in there. Google Chrome team, Firebase, auth, Next fonts, never heard of that. Style components, and Safari. Next Redux wrapper. That one's come up before. Not sure. Haven't used that one. React Native. That was unexpected. Given auth another point. We'll probably see auth float to the top, I imagine. Starter Peacock. Starter Peacock. Never heard of that. Dark mode Next.js starter for engineer. Let's just do starter as well. And implement. Would be a good one to search for. Implement. Open layers. Never heard of that. Understanding, optimizing, Vercel. Curious how much people talk about Vercel in Next.js, or if they're using it on other platforms. I have no idea. Cosmic CMS. Never heard of that one either. Next Redux wrapper. Another point. Background, we'll do video. Yes, lint. Get server side props. First app load. Another point for component. SSG components. So another point for component. We'll drop in SSG. Pages, static files. All that stuff is good. Get initial props. I'm going to put that over by here. Get initial props. What are my thoughts on Next? I love Next. I love Vue and I love Next, and I love the Next team and everything about it. I have not had the opportunity to use it recently, unfortunately, but it is such a great toolkit. Good question, Andrew. Some prod quality open source Next.js projects. Prod quality, let's see. How to properly set Redux. Redux, SSR. Deploy, that's a good one. Another point for SSG. GitHub Pages and GitHub Actions. Full stack. Another point for starter. Starter go. Pass props to props children. We'll do props, children, configuration. Next config.js. Storybook. Import. Seen libraries a couple times. I'm gonna drop that in there. people are probably interested in which libraries work with Next.js. Next dynamic. Examples. Dynamic pages. See, I think I have pages somewhere. Pages, dynamic pages. Export. There's another CMS, Papier CMS. So CMSs, I mean, CMSs are probably good topics to talk about and learn about. Postgres, relational DBs. Cypress, testing, mocking, all good stuff. Head tag. Catch all routes. Just drop routes in there. Dynamic routing. I'm going to give routes another point. Storing files after upload. Upload PDF files. Ruby on Rails. Another point for React Native. Interesting. Environment variable. Environment variable. Another point for Vercel. And deploying. I think we had deploy. Yeah. Another optimize. Let's put optimize. See, I had font. Next fonts. We'll do font and font loading. Also great topics. Another point for image. That's interesting. Next, optimize images. That sounds like a thing. Optimized images. Never heard of it. Sounds like a thing though. Display multiple results from Python backend. So Python. I'm going to scoot that up to Ruby on Rails. Start organizing some of these a tiny bit. High traffic, quick news updates, WordPress. We'll drop that in with that group. Material UI. Contentful CMS. That's another CMS. I'll start grouping CMSs together. All right, where'd the CMSs go? Up here. Grab that. There was another Cosmic. Oops. Paste that there. All right. Server-side injected CSS. Server-side injected CSS. I think that was the first mention of CSS. Yeah. AWS, Lambda, well, we'll do Lambda there. Get initial props, another point for that. Let's group those ones. I think we'll group this under like an API. Authentication, another person talking about auth. Deploy. Code not pushing to GitHub. I guess GitHub again. GitHub's probably its own subject. Let's see, GitHub. We'll grab both of these, bring them down here. Oops. Rebuilding in dev mode. Okay. Express. Pass information. Page. I think we have page somewhere already. Pages. API. Just gonna put another dot by it. No, that's a different API. This is the Next.js API. API-driven static. So another API. Static. Front end. Another auth. Server-side rendering. Server-side render. Well, let's go back to server-side and say server-side rendering. Requests. Front end. Do we have front end already? Yeah, of course we do. Vercel. Express again. Backend. Hosted. AWS. Font again. Add font TTF file. Production. Navigate. Props. Page. How do I handle state and not lose advantage of SSR? SSR, another one. They asked twice about it. Advantages is a good word. Like that one a lot. And state. I think that's the first time that's come up. Starter. Man. Starter. We'll do theme. First time I've seen that word. Performance, I think is, yeah, first time we've seen performance. Do another one for render. Oh, haven't done render yet. All right. Routes. Nested routes. Another deploy. Oops. And another static. And another AWS. Let's grab this and bring it down with the other AWS. AWS S3. Pre-rendering. Another SSR. Time zones. I'll put that in there. I doubt there's too much on that. Backend. another deploy. Another AWS. AWS Elastic Beanstalk. Get static props. Another API. Another font. Interesting. I didn't expect fonts to show up so much, but it seems kind of obvious now. And image as well. And optimization for sure. Optimize. We'll do post-processing as a new word. Post-processing. Saw pass information. Pass data. I mean that same group. Component. And page. Well, not that page, the other page. Lots of mention of pages. It's definitely going to be a section. Static. Not that static. Whoops. Not that static either. That static. I don't think we have a regeneration. Nope. Reminds me of a Time Lord. Let's see. Regeneration. Generation. Axios. Haven't heard that yet. FloatingLoveStripe.com. That doesn't seem too related. HTTP requests. Huge payloads. Performance. All right. Another point to stack. Firebase. Sitemap. I just went through generating sitemap stuff. I should write up a post about that or something. Next with Apollo. We'll put in package. Apollo. Slow. Mobile lighthouse. First time we've even seen the word test. Tailwind CSS. Get initial props again. Redux again. And another Redux, 2 posts in a row. Is that the same person? Nope. Server. Error. Component. Whoops. Component. Another one for component. I think the biggest surprise so far is fonts. Auth. Wasn't really thinking about it, but seems obvious after, using my brain. Next server in it. Next server in it. Another auth. And JWT. Jot. SSR. Deploy is also one that since I've only used Vercel, I wasn't thinking too much about deploying to a bunch of other destinations, Firebase and AWS and whatnot. So, but that seems obvious now in hindsight. Display response. API. That's another API. Response. Force render. Cores issue. Cores. Issue. Request. Another API. Another deploy. Looks like people really want to hear about deploying to other things. VPS. Another API. TypeScript. First time we've seen TypeScript. Kind of would have thought that would have shown up more, but maybe it's too obvious. Boilerplate. Server.js. Another component. Route. Auth. Let's make sure we cover route authentication. Cookies. Localization. Localization. Is that with an S? No, it's with a Z. Whatever. Layout. Custom. Another page. Vercel. Looks like this person keeps on posting articles about React. CSS. Another framework. We have library. Framework. Framewask. Another API. I guess that makes a lot of sense how Next.js is very opinionated around the pages, but with the API stuff, you have to kind of learn how you're going to do that based on your own custom APIs. Progress, client, other page, directory, password, database, first mention of link, more props, sessions, use state, first mention of use state, variables, another one for pages, for data fetching after client route transition. Okay. Defer, fetch, client, route, not that route, another route, and transition. Pipe function, get server-side props. Template, that'll probably go in that same starters and template group. Let's bring starters down here. Starter. All the way at the bottom. We'll call it starters. Login. That's the first time we've seen that. Let's make an auth section. Do I have an auth section already? Authentication. Move that one to the top. Sessions and password. Server package, Axios state, any other auth stuff. Let's bring this down to the bottom. Cookies in Java. Okay. There's our first mention of GraphQL. More API. Just going to name this methods. Yeah, let's bring that down. Yeah, we'll leave response under API. And a request was up there as well. That's my shortcut. Yeah, top bottom of the page. There we go. Sometimes I forget that shortcut. The jump to top, jump to top, jump to bottom. I had to remind myself. Bugs with Next.js dev server. Alrighty. Dev server. Bugs. Custom. Server. And another API. And another routes. Yeah, because API and routes, this can be, and there's API routes, so that might, let's grab this one as well. Oh, and catch all routes, grab that. Paste that down there. Search functionality. Hey John, what I'm doing is doing a keyword safari, meaning you go through forums and posts in various places, find the things that are mentioned the most, such as starter and API and routes, so that you can kind of dig up what everyone's talking about and orient yourself around where the most questions are and the most discussion is happening on a certain subject. Subject I chose was Next.js because it's something we're working with and using an egghead. So this is both research for things I should look out for and also like content I can make around that. Yeah, Will got the hat. How's it look? It's funny how like it's so black. It's hard to get the white balance. I think it looks good. Just got here like an hour ago, so yeah, John. I'm also like, I've only done this a couple of times. It's part of the 30 by 500 process. So it's like getting the practice of this and building up this skill is something I'm still working on. Yeah, we'll go check your mailbox, see if you got one too. Serving file. A file in there. PDF files, static files. We have static. I'm gonna put file here. I'm gonna like group this as assets. Let me bring PDF files under my assets. Yeah, that works. At the bottom here. Best stack. So we already have stack. Another mention of stack. And all these dots means how many times it's been mentioned. Like it gets more points, kind of floats to the top. So like deploy is not something I would have thought about because we're using Vercel on ours and I haven't had any deployment questions at all. But the community is asking a ton of questions about deploying to Firebase, deploying to AWS, which I wouldn't have thought of because, you know, it's something that we don't do. Single component based on navigation. Another component, another navigation. Do I have another navi? Nope. Another cookie. Vercel. GitHub. I'll just do a dot for that. Integration is probably a good word. I should use my keyboard for that. Integration. Integration. Data fetching. We have fetch. All of these methods. So that one, that one, that one. CSS. Classes. Well, that's CSS classes, not classes. Production. Dev's had a few. I don't think I marked them down. Error. Another deploy. Another Vercel. Boilerplate. This can go live in my, where's my templates, my starters. Library. Another shout out for libraries. So GitHub pages. First mention of serverless. CloudFront. And Lambda gets another vote. Native WebSockets. Native WebSockets. Workaround. Database. Document.js. App.js. We have dynamic routing. Router. Firebase. And Vercel. There's a versus. Let's set up like a hosting section. So Vercel, let's grab Firebase. And back to carousel, assets. Oops. Use router. Other dynamic routes. Wait, whoops. Dynamic routing. Hydration. Easy way to add a newsletter form. Form time. All right. Form. Newsletter. Static. Not that static. That static. Regeneration. Generate. Well, static generate is different than static. Dynamic parts. Dynamic routing, dynamic pages. We'll add one to dynamic pages. No. Let's do static generate static files. It's like static with dynamic. First mention of context. State. There's static pages. React type. Never heard of that. Another route for custom. Backend. API and routing. Not that routing. We'll just put it here. It's API routes. That's been mentioned before. Use SWR. That's one of them I thought would come up a lot. But that's the first time I've seen it. Jam stack. Gotta stack your jam. Another Redux. Toolkit. Well, I guess this Redux toolkit its own thing. Let's see. React native web kitten UI. Never heard of kitten UI. Avoid, I don't know, intermediate titles when changing routes. Routing again, state again, management, be a good keyword to search for. Another starter. Gatsby. I have an S3. Another Redux. Another navigation. Another component. CSS. And custom. And another custom. And another login. page. Next.auth.js. That sounds like something. Netlify. Where's our section for all this? Mern app. Never heard of Mern? Mern and GraphQL. Get static props. API routes. And build. Another deploy. Another static. Well, that's not under assets though. That's the static generation. That's not the right keyword. There's like two different types of static. Like static when you generate the pages and static assets. That keyword kind of gets tossed in between the two. Let's do AWS S3. Oh, I have one export. Render. And routes. It's a lot of route stuff. Another routes. Styling. Style components. It's the first Internet Explorer I've seen. And let's stop here. Custom Express and server. So I'm going to stop and say stop at Next.js app with Custom Express server. All right, let's organize these into buckets. Let's see, we'll start at the top. Image, component, SSG, pages. Let's do pages. Static files. This can go under assets. We had images at the top. I'm going to grab that. Put that under assets. Zoom out a little bit. And component. I don't know where to put that yet. SSG, that can go with all the generation stuff. Render might not go there. Axios, I know there's this. Those three can go with requests. And we had response somewhere, right? Like API, this sort of stuff. Dev server bugs. Well, let's go back to the top. Static. I'll put that there. That's kind of an outlier. Just gonna delete that one. Fonts, I'm gonna give its own section. Font loading, but I'm gonna put it next to the assets section because those are pretty related. And styled components can go up there. I'm gonna put all the Redux stuff together. There's a few of those mentioned. And also all the state ones together. Oops. So let's bring any mention of state up to Redux. Where's the context? I remember that one. Deploy. I can go with my Firebase stuff. Deploy at the top. Video can go with assets. And do like a server section. Because we've got a lot of like custom server. Next auth can go with auth. Pipe and function. Just gonna make like a code section. I don't know. It's got to go with your gut on this sort of stuff, I think. Defer, fetch. We'll put this under the API. Dev server. I'm gonna put that with the code section. That feels okay. Do components here. Safari can go with Internet Explorer. Internet. There's some sort of browser or something. This can go with like full stack. Props, children configuration. All of that in that code section. And it's Jamstack, I think. Some code. Is there a outline? I had a markdown plugin that could show outlines. Style extension, markdown. Does this show outline? No. If I make this language markdown, do I get an outline view now? I do. I wonder how I can get outline view in MDX. I'm not gonna worry about it for now. Next with Apollo. Apollo and Apollo can go with GraphQL. And bugs can go with code. Jamstack can go with the other stack stuff. Storybook can go with our components. React Native. I don't know. Mobile. Sure. Implement. I'm gonna put that in code. I'll give configuration its own section. All right. Any other danglers? Directory, mobile. Don't know what open layers is. Optimize. I'm gonna put that with performance. And put this in a speed category. Theme can go as CSS. Grab both of these. Find another CSS. Styles. Injected can go with code. And let's see. Open layers. Don't know what that is. I'm gonna add a miscellaneous. It's probably a third-party API of some sort. Adjectives. Verbs, whatever. Understanding. I'm gonna put it there for now. ESLint can go with code. And how are you doing? First app load. I can go with speed. There's like a generate category for this stuff. Pages. Sitemap is kind of its, well, search. I've never seen a search. Put those together. Package, library somewhere. Let's do library, package, libraries. And let's move all of these next slash stuff into there. Well, no, not next slash, the next dash. Next dash. Oh no, this goes, that's images for sure. Image. Next dash fonts. Okay. That works. Pre-rendering. Do generate. Advantages. I'm going to put this in the miscellaneous bucket. SSR. Generate. And navigate can go with routes. Bring these up. Integration can go with libraries. Import, go with code. Serverless, CloudFront. Go with our Firebase, Netlify. And build. Click generate. Actually, I'm going to rename this to build. That sounds good. Server. Competitors. Libraries. Almost done here. Next dynamic is a code thing. It's like importing. Functionality under miscellaneous. Environment variable. I'm going to put that under build. And production. We'll put that under build as well. Fonts, backend, front end, hosted. Hosted. Back end, front end. I'm just gonna put them under miscellaneous. Organize them later somehow. Time zones can definitely be miscellaneous. Oops. Let go. Miscellaneous. And example. Where's that starter? Code. Layout can be under where the style stuff is. So we have two productions. Oops. Testing. Database. Export goes in our code. And native WebSockets. I'm going to put that under, grab my API. Link can go wherever navigation is. Variables can go with code. And custom. That are miscellaneous, but that's interesting. CMS can go with APIs, I guess. Move these up. Use state. Put that with methods. All right, we are so close to done. And grab these two passes. Put those with code. Slow can go with speed. We've got Rails, Python, WordPress. Say backends. There's probably other stuff to talk about with that. Black screen. Tell you what, sometimes. The video download was canceled. Please try again. That's weird because it should be up elsewhere. Oh, I'm finishing up in 30 seconds anyway, so. No, Brandon, it's not you. It is a black screen on Twitch and it's fine elsewhere. So I don't know. I'll have to Google. Let me look at that error again. So make sure I capture it. The error is the video is down. Video download was canceled. Please try again. Alrighty. Alright, I think I'm good here. TypeScript code. Alright, and that's about it. Search, mobile, Lighthouse. This is all under testing. Well, Lighthouse is more speed. Well, speed. Yeah. Use router, put that in methods. All right, this looks pretty good. Mobile. Server. Let's grab that whole thing. Drop this in. I'm gonna drop all of this in miscellaneous except for this. This can go. These all can go in the methods section. And finally, just that last block. Where'd it go? Error can go in code. All right, I think that's looking. Any danglers? Just clear up some of that blank space. That looks good. It's a good start. Oh, this can all go in miscellaneous as well. All right, I'm hopping off. Everyone have a great weekend.